AFEX time now, and we're joined Eniola Akindele, market data and research analyst, who is in our Abuja studio to give us update or details for the market ended the 13th of February. Hi, Eniola. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, it's nice to be here.
So you want to give us details of trading for the weekend at the 13th?
Okay, thank you. For the last trading week, we saw a bullish performance across our key indicators as inventory activities increases by key commodities processors. This is reflected in our total turnover as it increased by 25% to close out at 6 billion naira. And also, the total number of these also increased by 72% to close out at 305 contracts. For our key indexes, we saw that our commodity index declined by 4.6% as commodity prices aligned with the open market realities, while our export index, however, increased marginally by 0.4%. For volumes traded on the exchange, maize and soybean accounted for over 75% of the total volumes traded. For commodity prices, we saw a mixed performance. Paddy rice and cashew nut were the gainers, with both increases for average of 5% over the last week, while maize, soybean, and cocoa declined. Maize was the top laggard, declining by 3.7% to close out at 230 naira. The prices of our other commodities remained flat. To know more about us, kindly visit our app and download our app on Play Store, Comex, and also visit our website www.africanexchange.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eniola Akindele, market data and research analyst with AFEX. Thank you for those details. Now, still staying with AFEX, obviously talking about agriculture, it's no longer news that the country, Nigeria, is blessed with several agricultural commodities: cocoa, cotton, palm rubber, sesame seed. Most of this we see on AFEX Commodities Exchange: cashew, sorghum, millet, and these are supposed to help the economy to grow. However, the logistics industry is poised with significant challenges such as reliability and inaccurate and untimely delivery. Talking about logistics and the disruption, especially coming from the war in Ukraine. The major issues faced include source financing and export contracts, payment solutions with an international buyer, trade terms, documentation, and licenses. AFEX is in the midst of all of this. And so we have Emmanuel Akubueze, the commercial manager, export markets with AFEX, joining us now to tell us how AFEX has been handling these disruptions that have been happening in the logistics space. Hi, Emmanuel, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you. So give us a little bit of background about, this logistics issues, how AFEX has been handling it, which I know has been compounded by Russia's invasion in Ukraine. It's made things worse. But how has AFEX been handling it?
I mean, we've tried to handle our logistic issues. Is something that we've been trying to build since the inception of AFEX. We have an amazing team, Ajia and his team. They've been doing amazing work in trying to circumvent some of the challenges we've been facing in the logistics industry. Aside what's happening in Russia, we know we have a plethora of inefficiencies in our own system, roads. Over the last year, we've been battling increases in prices of diesel, petrol, and also that that has exacerbated the issue of the logistics network. And then, quite frankly, the logistics industry in Nigeria is not as organized as it should be. The organization is very low. Funding to logistic companies is also something that is very slim. But at AFEX, we've tried to work with partners, in the industry, and also created networks of our own that, try to see us go above some of the issues in the logistics space.
Policy for agricultural commodities, how does that encourage local exports?
So you find that tax policies are guiding principles, right? That governments roll out to stimulate the economy, and we've done well, I would say. The Nigerian government and most of the stakeholders, the NEPC, for example, they've done well in rolling out some of these policies that are geared towards saving some costs for investors and just make the industry in general a little bit more attractive. I think one policy I can point to that everybody knows about is, say, the 0% import duties for mechanizations or for equipment for mechanized farming, for example. I mean, that has made the industry a little bit, more open and more relaxed for investors to then come in, and they know that they are going to be saving costs in importing some of these equipment into the country, and then efficiently produce. Because one thing we have to do in export is efficiently produce for the international market. And some of these things, some of these policies, rather, that the government is rolling out has seen, the industry benefits in some ways, right? You see that over the years. Past 2 years, for example, the export of agricultural commodities or non-oil export commodities has grown, right? Last year, NEPC recorded that we exported about $4.8 billion, and that's up from, I think, $4.6 billion the previous year. So I think some of these policies, in general, are making the industry a little bit, more welcoming to new players in the game.
Yeah, welcoming. But what about the access to funding? How easy or difficult is it for especially those who just want to get on board?
So I think that's one of the major issues a company like AFEX is solving. If you look at the mandates that we are working on, we are providing, access to infrastructure, both physical infrastructure, tech-enabled infrastructure, and more importantly, financing, for players in the industry, right? So we are about 46 days, for example, into the new year, and AFEX Commodities has moved about 50,000 metric tons worth of commodities, right? So to put that into perspective, over 2,000 trucks. So new players in the game can come in and plug into that network, right? We are making logistics a little bit more easier for players in our ecosystem. And in terms of financing, like you said, it's also something that we are giving access to players in the game. Newbies can access funding, whether it's through input financing, whether it's through credit limits, credit lines, or liquidity, right? It's something AFEX is trying to solve in the industry, and we are trying to do that. And I think other people in the financial industry, they're also trying to, because we see that agriculture is a big part of, our GDP. And so everybody's trying to put in their 2 cents in solving the problem, but it's something that AFEX is facing, well head on.
Like AFEX and some of these private players you've mentioned, what else is missing? What are we missing? Because obviously agricultural exports, we can't even say it's on the average when we look at the potential that the country has. What are we missing as a country?
I think something that we are missing would be collaboration, right? And we have to move away from the way we do business. And again, it's something AFEX is playing towards. We have to look at doing business from a shared value perspective. And then what that simply means is that everybody in the industry needs to come together, to find the solution. And we have to really work together as opposed to competing against ourselves. So the government, has to sit with, the players in the industry, the communities where, these farms are. We have to sit with them and, hear from them, and they also hear from us. And then we see how we could, utilize policies that the government, they are rolling out, and some of the things these private organizations like AFEX, where we are rolling out, and then hear also from the local communities. If we don't do that, if we don't look at this from a shared value point of view, I think we'll still be average, right? So we see that a lot of companies in Nigeria, most especially, they have to backward integrate because there are lots of inefficiencies, throughout the the value chain. It doesn't have to be. Somebody can create solutions that are, viable in the logistics industry, the logistic arm, for example. So while someone else is thinking about production, but in Nigeria, most people would produce, you transport, you export, you package. I mean, it's just a lot of stress, for businesses. But with collaboration from each of the stakeholders, I think we can get ahead of it and, boost the Nigerian agriculture sector to what we know it should be.
I guess, some companies want to get all the money, so they take care of everything in the value chain.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. Emmanuel Akube is a commercial manager, export market with AFEX. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You're fine.
Let's take a breather, then we'll head to another market.